I can't accept myself. Okay? And I want to accept myself. And to love myself, of course, and so on. But there is an inherent problem in these sentences. Can you locate it? Yes, but what in the mind? Exactly, exactly. I and myself. It looks very strange, actually. What are we? We suffering from some pathology? You see, it looks like we are two people inside one person. So what we find is I and myself. And what we need to understand is that this kind of split is not something that is going to end through the mind. It will always be like that. We will soon understand why, but this implies that basically we can never accept ourselves through the mind. Okay? I can never accept myself because that's the whole thing. It's a split. And this split is the problem. Not reaching, not eventually somehow removing this, and then there will be some miraculous union of I and myself, and there will be great fireworks in the cosmos. But because we have this kind of trust in this process, there is a sort of a sense of a future acceptance, you see? A future acceptance. One day, I will accept myself. One day, if I've justified it, if I've done enough, if I improved myself, if I healed myself, if I've done enough practices, if I've accomplished certain things that make me worthy of being accepted. So there is a sort of a future event taking place, but this future event is always future. That's what, by the way, mostly is the story of the future. That it's when it is in this level in our psychological realm, it is always a future. It never becomes tomorrow. Never becomes today. That's the concept. So the question is, if there are two, probably one of them is fake. Probably one of them is just not real. Because obviously we don't suffer from pathology. We don't have some kind of split personality. It is not that. We are pretty reasonable people. So who is false and who is right? Now, the thing that we need to understand is, of course, when we mostly, let's say, when we don't like ourselves, obviously we locate ourselves here, right? We identify with I because this is the center, right? I can't accept myself, so this sounds like the me and myself. What is myself at all? Who is this? I don't know if you've ever read do you know Eckhart Tolle? Everyone knows Eckhart Tolle, right? So, Eckhart Tolle describes his night of awakening, and I'm surely mistelling the story. you know, the nature of stories when they get digested in your mind, they become something else, but the principle. So it was Eckhart Tolle and reached spiritual awakening not in a regular process of ever-growing bliss, but actually in the midst of an extreme turmoil of self-hatred. Okay, and so at a certain point it reached such a inability to bear himself that there was a sort of a feeling of I can't live with myself anymore. But then something looked at the whole thing, is deeper intelligence, the intelligence that all of us have, and said, but what is this? Who can't live with itself? It seems like there are two, but one of them must be false. And as soon as he had this thought of that one of them must be false, he awakened. Something collapsed. This whole world of imagined two, and ever since, immediately afterwards, he basically started experiencing spontaneous bliss. Why? And what happened to him? Because surely we need to understand what this insight more deeply. And the thing is that the one that we identify with, we say this is who we are, is actually the false one. This is the true one, and let's understand why. Because we need to understand who cannot accept myself. Obviously, myself is my reality, right? Myself is this thing that is observed as my simple reality, just as it is. The flaws, the limitations, the fears, the doubts, the face that we see in the mirror, everything that it tends to be judged. Now, who doesn't like it if it's not a real I, it's not a real someone? When you begin to enter this deeply, you realize that this I is just composed of many social voices. Identifying with these social voices, we internalize these voices and we make them our own. Eventually they become a sort of a fake identity that keeps looking at myself and whispering, "You're not enough. You should be better. You should be better. You should be better." That is exactly the process, because when you begin to ask yourself, who says, for instance, because this is the root of non-self-acceptance, I should be more, or I should. Where does this should come from? How did we invent it even? You see? So we invented it by comparison. First, people started comparing us to them, or to what should be socially. And then slowly we started doing the work for their own work, doing it by ourselves, comparing ourselves to society, to others. This is how basically should be comes into being. If you enter very deeply the should be, starting to question it, why should I be? What does it even mean? You will realize that this should be could also be phrased as I should be like three dots. You see, like someone else, like something else, like some other people or some imagined other people. It doesn't matter. we absorbed it from not only our parents, from our teachers, from our from schoolmates. We absorbed it from the television, from commercials, from anything that we began to accept as our better self. You see, if we begin to understand that all this, what we call self-hatred, all this sense of unworthiness and inconfidence and measurement is not ours at all. That's when we begin to wake up from a deep agonizing illusion. This is not the root of the problem. I can't accept myself. This is the root of the problem, you see, because as soon as you have only one self, there is no more conflict, no more split. Because what else can you be except yourself? Do you understand? What can you be?